Good morning, my trading children. Today is the day after we took this entry last night. If you were awake during the US session, then we were live trading this together. So what I thought I would do today is film a follow-up to show you my morning routine after I've taken an entry on a trade and how I decide if the trade survived overnight, if I decide whether or not I'm going to stay in it. So my morning routine usually starts somewhere towards the end of Asia. I don't particularly care too much about the Asia price action, so I never really feel a need to check prior to that. So yeah, if you ask me questions during Asia, the best person to ask questions to during Asia is probably Janet and Cody. Even Energy, if he's still awake around that time, he's usually awake towards the beginning. But yeah, for me, it's not my trading time zone, and I'm getting up in Asia, but I'm not looking at the charts first thing when I wake up. That's a habit that I actually broke in order to put myself first. So my mornings are about me. The charts come second to that. So I get to the computer usually around 11 o'clock Dubai time, which is during the extension time. And by that time, I would assume that the initial high and the low of the day are in. So for my personal trading, I don't really care what Asia does. Not to say you shouldn't trade Asia if it's your time zone. Like I said, you follow the other guys in Discord, not me. But for me, I care about UK and I care about the US. So therefore, I'm letting Asia do what it does, and I am just assessing what it did after the fact. So with that in mind, this is my process now. So I'm getting here around 11 a.m. It's currently 11:20 as I'm filming this. And I start to, first of all, look like, is my trade still open that I took? Didn't hit my stop loss. For some reason, my drawings have disappeared. Oh, here it is, because it's on the 5 minute. Okay, so for those who may not have been awake, let me talk through the process and then I'll talk through my follow-up thoughts. So yesterday, I did a number of updates for you. Go watch your videos. I won't go over them, but I just want to talk about the entry. And the last update that I did was saying to you how I think it's possible that the move that we had that opened the week, so this move here, I'm on a 5 minute time frame, so it looks dramatic. But on this move here, I had a feeling it might be a reset and that we were going to go down for this whole week. And that this wasn't, because on the 1 hour time frame, I had said that on the Sunday update that I did, that I may have my levels wrong because my levels were literally like this prior. And I'd said, I don't know if I have my level 2 and 3 right, and that level 3 might still be coming, and that in fact, this was the thing. And so it turns out that is what happened, right? So whether or not I still have a right, I don't actually know. So time will tell. And to this moment in time, I still don't know. Time will tell. I'm going with this for now because of the price action yesterday. So in that video, I said it depends on what US does. US might give me the hint that this here is in fact the right count. So I now need to assess whether or not what's happened overnight gives me more confidence that this count is right, or do I think still that this count was right and this is actually a new level 1? So that's what I'm going to get into in this video. For now, I'll keep it like this, and let's see if I should change my mind. So going back down to the 5 minute, the reason we took the entry was because I said I need to wait to see what US does. And of course, what we can see here was that on the I thought it was the opening candle, but it wasn't. It was actually this. Was it, what candle was it? Oh no, that's a 5 minute. Oh, sorry guys. On the 15-minute opening candle was this one here. That was perfect. So I saw that happening on the 15-minute time frame at the open of the US. If you didn't catch my private video from yesterday, you should go and watch it. Make an effort to watch it, because there was very advanced information in there about funding rates. And I basically predicted that we were going to get a short squeeze. And that's what happened. So as soon as I saw it happening in the US, I went, okay, this is level 3. This is going to be the pivot, right? Now, that's my initial thought that triggered me to act. Today, I have to assess whether or not I think that thought is still right, or am I part of a false move? And in fact, we are still coming down, right? So a lot of people at the time in the chat was saying, oh, but the 4 hour, oh, but the daily M. Who the fuck cares? I'm on a 1 minute time frame. Like after this candle, we drop down to the 1 minute time frame. Do I care about the daily time frame M when I'm trading a 1 minute time frame? I absolutely do not. Because trading the 1 minute time frame, there's plenty of money to be made in this move before the daily M plays out. Not to mention, let me just go on this rant quickly for a second. Not to mention that even if this was a daily M, what do we sort of expect, right? Like best case scenario, you get an M, you get a retrace, you get the next drop, you get the next drop. Okay. So sure, we can be bearish on the daily time frame, but if you're trading a very small time frame, like a 5 minute, a 15 minute even, and let's just say you can get something like that, you know, that's a 5-to-1 risk to reward trade on a daily time frame retracement. So for me, it was like, yes, I do see the daily M, but I also see the dailies at support. I see super high level trading light orders that were sitting at 88,800, which is where we went to. You know, just everything else. So I was still like, watch the speed of US Open, watch the speed of US Open. And if that meant that, so that would mean that this is where we might potentially be right now, right? We may still be bearish on the daily time frame, and we're in this part here right now. So is that a good enough day trade? Yeah. So who cares about the daily M, right? If I was only trading the daily time frame, I would care, but I was not. I was on the 15 minute and the 1 minute time frames. So now, anyway, wait, let's go back. So I won't do a whole recap because the whole thing is in the members chat. You can go back. I'm pretty sure was one of the cabin crew tagged where to start to say like, go back, start here and just scroll because you can see it all happening live. You can see the thoughts live. I was telling the community, drop from the 15 minute to the 5 minute. Now drop from the 5 to the 1. You've got 14 candles to enter. Like I was literally talking everybody through it. So go back. That is live trading education right there. If you weren't awake for US, go back and read through that thread. Ask the cabin crew to tag where it starts. They will do that for you and just treat it as a learning experience. But this is meant to be the follow-up video. So I go to bed at 9, 10 o'clock, right? So I have to turn off the computer at that time. And so I stayed with the community. So this was the 15-minute candle. That's where I entered because I saw the speed and I'm confident. Then from that candle, we went down to the 5 minute. And this is where I told, no, 1 minute, sorry. This is where I told them you've got 14 candles to enter. Let me go back and see where we are now. Here, down here. So I said, you've got 14 candles to enter. And that came off the, what do you call it? The Asia to UK video. It's the same entry rules, UK to US. So after, where was the US Open? 6:30. So 6:45 was the last. Okay. So this here, wait, let me just square it out. So open at 6:30 to 6:45. I'm not going to edit this video, so you can just watch it on 2x. Or 1x if you actually want to pay attention. So after that, I said you've got 14 candles to enter. Now, if you've watched that Asia UK video, you've taken notes. There isn't a better video that exists than that. Honestly, there isn't. I shouldn't have put it on YouTube. It should have been private for the community. But anyway, you've got 14 candles after this. Okay, so this is the opening candle. Then you've got another 14 candles from there to enter. And that video says we either retrace, so from here to here. So we either retrace where you can get a better entry than just going in on the close of this candle, or the next candle opens and doesn't come back into the close of the this 15-minute one right here, or wherever the 15-minute close. So let's zoom in on this real close. So this was where we closed, right? So the next candle didn't open higher, so you had the chance of a retracement, but we got two candles here that held the 50 EMA. That's a sign we're not going to go down much further. So you pretty much have to act on that if you didn't get in on this candle, which you shouldn't. Like I do because I'm confident, but you need more confirmation than me. I'm happy to lose money because I know when I make money, I make it big. I'm in a different mindset. Don't try to be like me. Try to be like what I tell you to be like, right? So eventually you can be a hell of a lot more aggressive like me. Like I was reading the chat last night with all the doubt and shaking my head, but I also understand it because that's the journey. So anyway, point being that this was the best you were going to get. You have to take a chance. You could have even laddered in. You could have gone in with 25% position in case it still continued down. That's a good way to build your confidence. Then when you see this, go, okay, it's not coming down. Add the rest of your position. Like you know what's happening now on the higher time frame because we've been monitoring the 15. We've come down to the 1 just for our entry. Like anywhere here, you would have entered because it was holding the EMAs. And you don't have long, right? You have until this, you have until this candle right here. This one here, sorry. Was it? Yeah. No, this one here. You have until this candle, right? You got to act fast. If you want to trade that method of getting in at the open at the right time, you got to act fast. So yeah, you don't have time to mess around is pretty much what I was telling the community last night. So anyway, there's the entry. And then from there, I don't need the 1 minute anymore because we're in. I don't need it. So now I go straight back to the 5 minute because I want to look for the best time frame to get my higher low, because this is where some people started screenshotting their percentage gain and saying thank you. Don't do that. I don't like it. Don't do that. I don't need your thank yous off an entry. It doesn't mean anything to me because all we have right now is a highly risky, highly aggressive entry that could fail. So just be careful of celebrating too soon. You know, a 10x trade with a 20% gain, like, dude, the market's moved 2%. Calm down. Do you know what I mean? Like, calm down. So to me, that it doesn't, I don't need that. I don't need that. Thank me when you take profit, you know, when you've actually walked away with that money. Your entry, you have not walked away with the money yet. So anyway, I'm ranting. It's better when I do this at night and I have no energy left. But so then I get to zoom out to the 5 minute and I'm waiting now. So we've got our entry and I'm waiting to see how high this pushes. I see, you know, we go up around here to the 200 EMA. I'm like, kind of, that's good. Everything's good. I've got a vector that crosses the 50. I've got a run to the 200. I'm fine. Community was super doubtful. And then I'm like, okay, what evidence do I need? So this is where I put on the fixed volume range profile. I don't always use that. I will use that or Fibonacci, which I have on as well. One or the other, kind of up to you. But in this one, I wanted to see where the volume was and how low I would accept my retracement to go. Now, because I got in on the stop hunt, you know, I had an excellent entry. I didn't have to worry all that much. But people who got in on the after the close on the 1 minute, I was more monitoring for them so that I could tell them the earliest point to invalidate their trade. So at the time, and again, go back through the chat if you weren't around live, because you'll see I did all of this in the moment with you. There is nothing on this chart that I have changed to make myself look good. This is how the chart looked prior to candles forming yesterday. So It was sometime after here that I drew this area of interest. And then Mick, the cabin crew Mick, he asked me why I chose that. The answer is in the chat. And as you can see, we came down. Now, before this, though, however, it got to 9 o'clock. Was it 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock? Wait, where was 9 o'clock? No, I was in bed before 9 yesterday. Yeah, no, the last candles I saw were these ones, right? So I went to bed at 8 early. Okay, so this is where I clocked off, right? So I thought, okay, how am I going to manage this trade because it's time for bed? And I posted in the chat and I said, I'm going to bed. My stop loss is under my area of interest. So my stop loss went in around here. And the only thing I added at that time that I didn't share in the community was the fib retracement. And that was just to give me yet another confluence to this area. So when I saw that I had drawn it between the 38 and the 50, and at the time these candles had bounced off the 38, I was like, yeah, I think I've got it right. I do think I've got it right. And so therefore I set my stop loss, told everyone, and went to bed. And this is what happened during my sleep. And then we held above it. And so now I'm at the point where I've woken up, Asia's finished, and now I have to decide about my trade. So I'm going to take all of this off now. And what I have to do, first of all, even though my entry was off for 1 minute, I have to zoom out to the daily time frame and see where we are. Okay. So when I look at the daily time frame, I think that's a delicious daily candle close there. That is a huge wick, very strong buying power. Tried to get back above the 50 EMA, did technically close above it, rejected the 20 EMA. So it's really quite 50-50 right now. The current daily candle, I'm not paying too much attention to because it only opened, 6 hours ago, but I am paying attention to the open of it. So the open has opened higher than the close of yesterday. This is all I care about on the daily. Right now, I don't care about the 4-hour time frame because I know what's going on, right? So from the daily, I can go straight down pretty much to the 1 hour. Now, the 1 hour is where my prior counts were. So what I'm looking for is evidence that these counts are right or they're wrong. So what is immediately standing out to me with this current price action is that we have not yet created a higher high. So that's one caution to me. I'm going to take this buy order off because I don't know if it's correct. So that's one caution to me is that we have not created a higher high. That's a worry. So the initial high of the day has not spiked higher than this area here. And also when I look more left, it's a pretty strong area here, here, here. It's all resistance. So it's not a good sign that we haven't broken above it. The other thing that I'm noticing is that my trade has still not been validated. A session later, it's still not validated. And what I mean by that is no matter what time frame I'm looking on, 1 hour, 15 minute, or 15 minute, maybe, 5 minute, maybe. Okay, maybe then. But on the 1 hour, my trade has not been validated. And the 1 hour is the one that I use for the swing, for the weekly swing. So I got my aggressive entry, but I trade the 3-day swing. I'm not trying to day trade. You guys know that. So really what I need is to see the structure change on the 1 hour time frame. I don't have that, meaning I don't have a higher high. So I've got a caution here. And in Asia, I also didn't create my higher low. So in order for this trade, this long position to be validated, I really need the higher low on the higher time frame. I don't have it yet. So then I have to start thinking, okay, is this going to roll over? Should I stay in it? Or is this going to fail? And my original idea of this being over here and this is actually level 1 drop of the week, is that actually going to come to fruition? There's still a very high chance that it will. So therefore, I have to assess these candles. Now, my thought is that I can see there's no volume in these candles when I look at it on the 1 hour time frame. I also noticed that comment being made in the Discord. But then I have to think to myself, well, hold on. If this is in the process of creating a higher time frame W formation, there won't be volume yet because the volume doesn't come in on the inside left side. The market maker turns up here and we haven't had enough time yet. So the volume doesn't become part of my decision making because we don't have enough structure for it to become part of my decision making. So what do I look at next? Next thing I'm looking at is the news events. So I'm like, okay, there's PPI coming out today. All right, what does that mean? Could this be a run up into a news event just to smack it back down for level 2 drop? Yes, it could. Keep that in mind. Okay, so that's in my mind. Could it be that this was the run up? We come down into the news or after the news, but create the higher low. So we do this part here, the inside right side. We do that either into the news or after the news. Yep, it's another possibility. Okay. Now I have to think, what other tools can I use to validate one of those opinions? And that's when I go to Trading Light. Okay, so Trading Light is telling me that we've got shorts waiting here at 96,000. So I've got to put them on my chart. 96,000. Okay, so that makes sense because it's a strong resistance. So I'm not just marking them on my chart for no reason. I'm putting them on my chart to see if those levels make sense because I don't really like round number orders. Actually, last night was a perfect example because we had high level orders at 92, 90, and 88. 92, 90, they got smashed through. 88 was the next. And then orders appeared at 88, 800. And I didn't say this to you guys, but I should have. When I saw the 88, 800, I went, that's the one. And the reason why is because it wasn't a round number. So the 88, the 88, 800 was more relevant than the 88 when I saw those orders turn up. But also the timing of it was just more important than that. But I did see the 88, 800 and went, yeah, we're probably going to get it there as opposed to the 88. Anyway, so 96 makes sense. So round numbers, add them onto your chart, but make sure if they make sense, you pay attention. This makes sense because it's that resistance. If they don't make sense, they're kind of just a round number in the middle of nowhere, potential fake. Then hang on, go away this thing. So then, oh my God, the Zoom thing gets in the way and then I can't click on my tabs. So then what's the next one? So then below price, I see high level orders at 93,600. Now I have to think to myself, okay, what's happening? So if I have those orders at 93,600, and I have the other ones at 93,696, and it's Asia. And I see that as like range setting, right? Because they're pretty close together and these orders aren't below the last low. That's range setting to me. So those two orders there are there to keep the Asia range. So that's fine. So then I don't worry. Now, this is where I get to set my condition then, because if this move is going to confirm, then what I would expect is that this will happen, right? So the orders might come down to around that 93.6. It's close to the 50 EMA. Would have liked it to also line up with a vector in here. But like I said, if this is going to be a higher time frame W, we wouldn't expect vectors here on the inside right side anyway. So it's a bit difficult. So if we got a play like that, I wouldn't even call it a W. I would call it a V-shaped recovery. And this here, if it holds, is going to be our EMA retest, where if you know the V-shape entry, it is pinned in my channel. Then you know that this is where if you don't have the balls to take an entry like this, which is fair enough, this is where you would be looking for a long entry after the V-shape recovery. So technically this is a V-shape. It has done its job. Why? Because this side here recovers all of the vectors of this level drop right here. So it's done its job. So far the V is actually good. Doesn't need to have volume here. It just needs to recover all of the vectors on the final drop. It's ticked the box on that. All we're waiting for now is confirmation. So if this holds, anywhere above this holds, we do have a V shape, and we would be looking for long entries despite the lack of volume if this holds right here. So now what am I doing next? Nothing. Now I'm telling myself, okay, could probably move my stop loss if I wanted to, because if it drops lower than this, then it will be close to the news event. The other idea that this is level 1 drop and there's 2 and 3 might play out. So I want to be out of this trade and take some money off the table, if that turns out to be true. But I also might not move my stop loss, because now I'm awake. I will just manually watch at the news events. I rather make manual decisions. But if I was working, if I was distracted, I would move my stop loss to protect this trade. So that's it. That's my morning thought. Right now, I'm okay. I'm waiting to see. I see the range. I see the orders. I know the cautions. I know where to exit my trade if we break below here, or we get too close to the news event. The news event's negative. I will just manually close out. My short is currently still open because I don't have confirmation of this move to the upside. Where will I close it if this holds? If I can see, like, it might not even be that we come down here. We might range in Asia and just get a stop hunt, and then like we could get a straightaway trade even potentially if it's around a news event. So if I saw anything like that, that's where I would be triggered to close my trade, and I'd be like, yep, the pivot's going to play out. We're going to get our other levels. So yeah, I've built my plan. Now, how long did that take me? 20 minutes. So from here, I'm not looking at the charts again, really, until I might set an alert on this. I rarely do, but might set an alert here. If it goes off, that's where I need to come back and decide what to do with my trade. I might also set an alert on the sell orders, because that's going to trigger me to close the short. And other than that, I don't need to be back at the computer now until about 4 o'clock, usually about an hour before the next news event. Okay, hope that was helpful. Bye.